call this regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Alabama Community College System to order. We appreciate everyone's presence here, and Happy New Year to everyone. To start off with, before we get into our agenda items, we've got two distinguished groups with us today. We've got Leadership Jefferson State. Is President Brown here, or whoever will stand up? And
we ask you to stand.
Please.
Recognize this is our inaugural class for our Leadership Academy for Jefferson State Community College. 10 staff, faculty, administrators going through a 9-month program where they'll learn more about the college and its interaction as we have a focus on its strategic life lesson employees. So we're happy to have you here.
Great. Thank you for your presence. Appreciate your interest. In addition, we're so pleased to have Leadership Wallace State President Carlowitz.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm pleased to ask our group to stand up. It is our, I believe, our third class of Leadership Wallace State, and these are who we call the difference makers on campus. We believe in leadership at every level of the organization, and we try to develop that way. And so I welcome here to our board meeting so that they can see what happens here in Montgomery.
Difference makers, I like that. Very good. We're so pleased that Dr. Susan Burr is going to give our invocation today. Following that, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you for the opportunity to bring this brief word of prayer as we open the ceremony today. And when I think back and we complete the holiday season and all the warmth and joy that we felt with our friends and family over the season, we often reflect on that glow. And then this is the beginning of a new season, and we think about charting a new course and beginning a new path. And it's with that thought today that I ask you to join me in prayer. Dear Lord, as we end one season and begin a new season, let us be reminded of the extraordinary opportunities and privilege each of us are so fortunate to hold. It's a privilege and an opportunity, but it doesn't come without responsibility. We pray today that each leader in this body respect, honor, and embrace this opportunity. May we be principled in our vision for this great state and all herein which we serve. For it has been said, a people without vision shall surely perish. As we formulate the vision, grant us the collective wisdom to follow the simple truths of servant leadership, that we all begin with the end in mind, that we all remain true to the mission of our service to those we serve, that we all seek first to understand and then to be understood, that we share our vision and execute the mission in the true spirit of service to others. We are so thankful for this season and this opportunity of service. Bless those among us who are less fortunate. Allow our collective strength to chart a course that provides an opportunity and sets the stage for well-reasoned and meaningful lives. For it is these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Present.
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 Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the approval of our agenda. Each board member has received this in advance, had a chance to look it over and review it. At this time, I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Davis to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Brown. Any discussion? There being none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the agenda as we have before us today, please raise your hand. approval of the minutes of the December 14th, 2016 meeting. Once again, all the board members have received these minutes in advance, had a chance to review them. At this time, I'll entertain a motion on the minutes from the December 14th meeting. And a motion by Mr. Caldwell to approve the minutes of the December 14th meeting. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Davis. Any discussion? Any discussion about the minutes of December 14th, 2016 meeting? There being none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes of the December 14th, 2016 meeting, please raise your hand. The minutes are approved. Item 6, public comment. No one signed up for public comment. Item 7, academic and student affairs, adult education, facilities, physical, information technology, and workforce development. We have 2 items under this section. 7A1, repairs and upgrades for fire alarm system at Bevel State Community College.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
The Facilities Committee has reviewed this, and the reason it came to us, this is in the signature authority of the Chancellor, that this project was started prior to our policies and procedures being implemented. So it came back through us. We recommend that it be approved.
Make a motion. Motion by Mr. Smith to approve item 7A1. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Caldwell. Any discussion? There being none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of item 7A1, the repairs and upgrades for the fire alarm system at Bevel State Community College, please raise your hand or vote by voice.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Floyd. Motion passes. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda, 7A2, allocation of 2016-2017 industry certification initiative funds. Chancellor Baker, do you have any comments on that? Or?
You have any comments? Yeah.
Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Davis to approve the allocation of industry certification
Second.
funds. Second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? Questions? We have before us a recommendation of allocation 2016-2017 industry certification initiative funds for the Alabama Community College system. All those in favor, please raise your hand or vote by voice.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Section 8, executive, legal, and public information. Under action items, we have the 2017 legislative agenda for the Alabama Community College system. This was on our first session, I believe, last month. Any discussion or comments from Chancellor Baker?
Well, I do think I need to make a comment. We are going through, I can say, metamorphosis really, in the world of technology, workforce training, skills training, all of those programs. So a lot of what you see here is in support of that activity. It, by the way, doesn't in any means represent our total needs, but it does represent a process to get to a point so that we can identify a lot of our needs. So that's kind of where we are. I would also say that the legislation that we had last year that was considered by the legislature, but it had a lot of content in it dealing with the corporate structure of the board. We are going back with, although it's, I guess I could say it's pretty unloaded, it's simply to change the corporate structure from that of a state agency to a corporate environment so that we become more of a collegiate
do have a comment. I would fully support, especially the move towards increasing dual enrollment. That's extremely important for our students. It's a good partnership between K-12 and Alabama Community College system. It's very well received by the legislature, and I think it sends a strong message of partnership between our two agencies. I also would say that the move to further independence by the community college system, this is a little outside my wheelhouse. I will say that I think that's an important step for this trustee board. It was something that your predecessors thought a lot about as well, and I think you need it to take this system to the next level.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter. Appreciate your comments. Any further discussion or comments on this? There being none, is there a motion to approve the legislative agenda for 2017?
I make a motion to approve the legislative agenda.
Motion by Ms. Brown, is there a second? Second by Mr. Caldwell. Any other discussion? There being none, all those in favor of approving the 2017 legislative agenda for the Alabama Community College system, please raise your hand or vote by voice.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Item 9, personnel.
I'd like to introduce some of our new personnel. I'm looking around. Richard, yeah, I see Richard. Richard Corey is a special assistant to me. He's someone that has the skills and technology that I lack in a big way, as most of us do. But he's coming to work with, or he has been to work with us now for about a month. And I think it was especially important to have someone on board who has the level of skill that he has as an experienced basic level, so that we can better deal with the issues of technology as well as our whole financial system and all of that. So Richard, would you stand up, please? Thank you. Dr. Jason Hurst is with us. He is, whatever his title is, I know, but he's a right-hand assistant to Jeff Lee. Jason is actually a native Alabamian. He's been in the system before, Anniston area. He comes to us from Florida, where he served as the president of college. And his background and education experience has been in the world of workforce, skills training, machining, and those kinds of things. So we're really excited about what he brings to the table. Donna Boutwell, and I don't think I saw. Okay, Donna, hey, how about standing up? Did I ask you to stand up? All right, thank you. Donna has been with us for some time, but as a full-time employee, she's now a full-time employee, and she's heading up the compliance review section of our organization. Her specialty is more program in nature. And then we have a new accounting person, Akeem, would you stand please, Akeem Alexander. He is in the compliance section as well. He is an accountant and has a lot of experience in governmental accounting, so that's part of our team that we're putting together for the compliance section. So that's kind of the personnel.
Well, Richard, Jason, Donna, Akeem, welcome from our board. We're glad to have you and look forward to working with you. Appreciate your commitment to our system. Anything else in personnel? Chancellor's report.
Let me first advise you that on Tuesday, January 31st at 12 o'clock, I'm scheduled to appear before the Budget Joint Committee in the legislature to talk about budgets. Now, I think it's interesting that the schedule sets out two presentations prior to that. One presentation will be made by State Representative Toby Barker from Mississippi, and the discussion is going to sentence will be the next presenter, and then you'll have about 30 minutes, and I'll have about 30 minutes. So there won't be a lot of feedback off and on there and back, because they have lunch scheduled, and then law enforcement.
You repeat the date and time again.
12 o'clock on the 31st of January. I just want you to be aware of it. You're more than welcome to be there if you would like to. Following the last board meeting, we had a president's meeting, and in that president's meeting, after some conversation, we had a presentation by Jeff and cover some of workforce. And since our agenda wasn't quite as full today, I wanted him to come back and answer a number of questions that came up at that meeting. Several of the board members did attend, all of you did not. So I've asked Jeff on an abbreviated presentation. And on top of that, I had also appointed a committee of presidents who have worked with Jeff to work through the whole issue of workforce training, and where we are going as a system, or what our goals are, and where we want to go as a system. So, Jeff, if you would come up, and if I call time on you, I'll just call time.
That sounds good. Thank you very much. I'm going to go through a presentation real quickly in a few minutes, but I want to recognize that workforce task force that we have that I'm so excited about. So if you don't mind, stand up if you're a part of that. It's Dr. Martha Lavender, Dr. Susan Burrows, Dr. Larry Ferguson, and Dr. Perry Ward. So I've got the pleasure of working with them on a lot of things here. And I would ask, with the pleasure of the board, that the system presidents would stay around after this meeting for a brief review with this task force. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. So what I'd like to do is briefly go through this. Obviously, I am not going to read everything, so don't worry. You have copies in front of you, and you'll see draft on it, because we're still going through some things here too, to fine tune some things. But it starts off with our mission and goals, and you can read through that too. But basically what we want to do is create a world-class workforce and economic development program for colleges across the state. Our job at our office here on the 3rd floor is to do nothing but wake up every morning and work hard supporting our schools to help them provide the best workforce training programs and economic development programs that we possibly can for our citizens and our companies in the state. And also to prepare the state to be much more equipped to recruit more aspirational companies to move in, diversify our economy, etc. So with that, goal number 1 is to develop and deliver a customized training program across the state via our workforce program. So what we're going to do there is we're actually going to have a team of experts on our 3rd floor that will actually go out and work with our colleges and through ATN and the Workforce Solutions program to design, develop, and deliver really world-class customized training programs. These will be sold to all the companies in the service area. We have a lot of pockets of excellence already that are doing this already across the state. We want to standardize this. We actually want to create a library, if you will, of hundreds of courses that we've developed with the system. We'll share that across the state with our colleges, and those colleges will be able to pull those courses down, go out and sell those courses, and really take care of the needs that the companies are having in their service areas. And I'm going to click through this, so please, if you have any questions, just stop me immediately, or else Chancellor Baker might cut me off on time. So goal number 2 is develop, implement a nationally recognized industry certification program driven by industry's hiring practices and workforce occupational forecasts. And that's the key thing, is we want to really focus all of our dollars, all our efforts, and everything that's under workforce, adult ed, dual enrollment, etc. It's got to be laser focused, that we're focused on a priority of those occupational forecasts. So we're going to look at high wage, high demand focus on those and fund those programs regardless across the state. And hopefully we'll get the funding increase for the dual enrollment that Chancellor Baker mentioned earlier. So there's pent-up demand for a lot of programs. When I meet with companies across the state, one of the biggest programs that, and I'm going to go into more detail, that's missing for manufacturing companies, which is a huge base of our companies that are employed here, is the MSSC certification. a workforce economic development certification program for our colleges and our workforce units. So what we will be doing is identifying, the first cohort going through this will be our system presidents, and then our second cohort going through this will be our workforce people at our colleges that are tasked to go out, meet with companies, listening to their needs, providing solutions to their workforce needs across the state, partnering with economic development, working with prospects that come into the community. And so it's going to be about a 9-month program that we'll do. Right now we're just calling it the Certified Alabama Workforce Development Program. It's a pretty rigorous curriculum that we'll have for them, but they'll come out and they'll be excited to be tied into the programs that we'll provide them. And then our office on the 3rd floor here in this building will do nothing but support them 100% on being successful in their new endeavor. Goal number 4 is develop a world-class marketing campaign. This will be dovetailed into a lot of things that Annette Funderburk is going to be doing, working with our system office. What we were trying to do is really drive that paradigm shift with parents, teachers, counselors, etc., and really focus them in on great career options within our state. And regardless, if you go back, this is a very, very long problem in every state and every country. So what we're trying to do is shift that paradigm and really educate the future workforce of great options and different skill sets that really require a 2-year education or less. So post-secondary education. And then by doing this also, we're going to dip down and do some things with STEM, FIRST Robotics, etc., into our K through 12 partnerships as well. So we're excited about some things that we'll do in this area as well. Goal number 5 is to develop data analysis. Chancellor Baker mentioned earlier about how data is so important. We need to purchase a CRM, customer relationship management system, and we need to use that for all of our schools. We need to have retention of all that data. We need to look at trends of workforce needs across the state. We need to design, develop those programs, give them back out to the schools to let them use to be successful. We need to share different things across this. This is a database that we can actually create very, very quickly. At our last task force meeting, we've already started talking about getting quotes for this. It's a very nominal fee, but the rewards of this are phenomenal for our system, and they can help us out in so many different ways. And I'll ask any of the task force members if y'all want to add anything, please stand up and say anything. I know that based on this, I know that Dr. Ferguson used a really good system over in Kentucky. And so what it had an embedded needs assessment. So it had a tool within the CRM. When you go meet with a prospect or a client or someone that's needing training, you can capture data, and then we can roll that data up in aggregate at the system office and look at trends that are across the state and be very proactive rather than reactive about addressing those needs for the companies.
Is this a web-based system?
Yes, it is. Yes, it would be tied into like you can take it portable, then you plug it in when you get back, or it could be a web-based. Yeah, so it will be a web-based program.
It's a cloud solution.
Yeah.
It's a cloud solution.
You know, it's similar to probably ones that you use in your company as well. So right now, one of the leading companies out there right now that provides this is Salesforce. So something similar to that.
Salesforce Essential.
Absolutely, and they have some really good deals for education partners. The goal number 6, establish an existing site and or build new centers of excellence in advanced manufacturing technology, originally to provide advanced manufacturing training programs. Some of you are aware we're working with Mobile Airport Authority at Berkeley Field. Thank you, Chancellor, Mr. Smith, board member, Mr. Smith, for helping us out with that particular thing. We have a big meeting tomorrow. We're moving forward with the curriculum. We've got a big curriculum meeting. We will be establishing an executive steering committee, and proposed date for that meeting down in Mobile will be January the 27th, 9 a.m. that we can have that established. Trying to pick that up and move it forward more aggressively, and so we're really excited. I had a good meeting last Friday with Bonnie Tully at Ebonic, and also Frank with Sagia. And so we're really trying to get that focused and get it back on track to meet the needs of those industries in that area. I will say that that's going to be a really diverse group of companies. We'll have Airbus, Austal, chemical corridors, people there as well as the steel company up in Culver. And so it's going to be a variety of different company industry sectors, but a lot of them have common needs from the two-year college system there, so we're excited about doing that as well. You will hear later some additional things that I'm working with Representative Bill Poole. He's requested me to do some things and some analysis, and so I'll report back on that later in another day. Goal number 7 is create a workforce grant program. We have a grant program, but what we need to do is basically, and this goes back to Chancellor Baker and I had a meeting with Greg Canfield, Secretary of Commerce, and I think AIDT does a great job. We do a lot of investment in AIDT, but what we need to do is when a company comes in to our state, typically their footprint is for a 50-year period. And so we're doing a lot of investment into short-term AIDT training for 18 months on average. And then that asset or those programs leave. We need to invest into our 2-year campuses, have AIDT use those, and then give them to the colleges so we can continue that pipeline of training for the 50-year footprint that they're here. So we need to establish that. And Greg Canfield was the first one to tell us that he completely agrees with that philosophy. So does Ed Castile. And so we hope to move forward with budget requests for this as well. We need to invest into our colleges when new programs, new companies build their plants or grow their operations within the state. So that's going to be exciting too. We're really excited about that. I want to shift gears real quickly. First, is there any questions thus far on any of the goals that we have? And I'll be happy to make time anytime you want to go into great detail. We want to make sure we look at national certification, so that's just a piece of a little document that kind of flow map those programs with IT, manufacturing, and construction. I can tell you in the IT district, there's a lot of pent-up demand for IT training across the state. I think we could grow several thousand jobs within the next few years in that. So we're actively working with a group with cyber. Our next meeting is Friday with the Chamber at Montgomery. We're very excited about the opportunity we're going to be doing as well. I want to shift gears again and go into MSSC. This is more of a manufacturing and logistics program that I want to introduce to the state. This has been around for a while, so it kind of goes back to some programs back. It started with a group called NACFAM back in the 90s. This was where a lot of major Fortune 500 companies came together and said that there was a major skill gap. And again, if you trace this back to post-World War II, there's a major skill gap then, and it's just got worse till today. So the focus was to look at standards for manufacturing companies. And so we created these standards, or they created standards. I was actually on their board back in the 90s and did some work with them when I was in the state of Georgia. But if you look at, there are 2 principal areas that they focused on: the production employees and logistics employees. Production employees, and I'll go through it just real quickly, but if you look at 6 out of 10 open skill production positions right now are unfilled because they just can't find the talent. And this is low-hanging fruit for our system. We can get involved in this program immediately with these certifications, and we can start creating programs across the state that will fill that void and be unsung heroes at the state level and at the college level, providing solutions for these companies. I know that Dr. Mitchell at Selma and I are going to roll some things out using this particular program in some of the dual enrollment schools down in the Black Belt region. And so we looked at doing some ready to work, but actually we want to roll this out so they can come out with a certificate and take that and use it to be stackable to end up going back to one of our 2-year campuses to get a degree or diploma and move forward as well, and hopefully articulate that to a 4-year school if they so desire. So the skill gaps are really deepening as each year ticks by. Right now there's 2 million jobs unfilled due to the skill gaps. This is information from the National Association of Manufacturers, is a big promoter of the MSSC skills program. Some of the core competencies that are laid out in this are safety, quality, measurement, manufacturing, processes of production, maintenance awareness, green production. And then if you shift down to the next level at Certified Logistics Association, Walmart has regional warehouses all over the globe, but they're really major in the United States. They're building a massive one just north of Mobile or in Mobile right now. that will feed those regional. Walmart just signed up and said if any graduates coming out of the logistics program, we'll grant them an interview immediately. And so this is, from the manufacturing side, we have some great companies that have already recommended this and recognized this, and now Walmart's doing it for the logistics side. This is just how we want to, this is just a little brief chart to show you how we want to make sure that this is a pathway to a job, a pathway to additional education. And so it's just laid out with the manufacturing career pathway and then the logistics career pathway below that. So we can go into more detail later if we do have time. Industry certification, the benefits obviously are very clear, but the pipeline of skilled workers, we've got to, with a unemployment rate of less than 6% in our state, we've got to grow our talent, and we're way behind, so we got to get going very, very quickly. This will decrease the recruitment cost. The average recruitment cost per operator is about $20,000. We have pretty significant turnover in a lot of major companies that I've met with across the state, so we can help them save money. Elimination of company and remedial training costs and time, so kids, students, adults will be coming out of this program with the skill sets necessary. And it's really three basic factors. It's competencies, behaviors, and technical abilities that they'll have and be able to go straight to the shop floor and start working for great companies across our state. Also, be able to attract, motivate, retain qualified employees. A lot of employers will actually take their existing workforce and send them back through this program to kind of level load their competencies and their behaviors and technical abilities. So it'd be a great way to create that type of environment into their workforce. And also it creates the agile workers' capability to keep in pace with the technology change. As every day with new SCADA IT systems that are on the shop floor, people can stay abreast of those programs. These are just some of the companies, certainly not all. BMW had a big program with this in South Carolina where they sent their employees 20 hours a week to a campus to get 20 hours at MSSE, and then the other 20 hours they worked on the shop floor. Lockheed Martin is a big promoter of this, on and on and on. At the very top, there's a consortium of automotive manufacturers that love this program, and I just met with the president of Mercedes and rolled this out with him as well the other day. So companies are very, very excited about us stepping this up and delivering this into two campuses. I want to shift gears once again, then I'll be through real quickly. This is another tool that we're going to buy. Well, let me back up. So for us to be successful, I want to pay for a statewide license out of my office for the campuses so they don't have to incur the cost. We're going to pick up that cost. We're going to pick up other costs for certifications. And so I want this to be something that can be easily rolled out across the state at every campus, at every location, because there's such a pent-up demand for this type of program. So I want to pick up every cost that I can possibly do. In addition to that, for us to really focus in on true occupational forecasts, we have great partners with other state agencies we work with, but we also need a tool ourselves. This is the tool that we were going to purchase. It's called Shimura. It's a major think tank and resource in economic development for workforce. It's called Jobs EQ. I'm going to take you through briefly a quick video, kind of talk about things, and I'll talk about that, and then I'll stop and answer any questions you might have.
You need labor market data, very specific data. It may not be for the nearest metropolitan area. You may need data for your county or zip code, or a collection of regions that is your service area or labor shed, or for a radius from a certain point, or a drive time. You need information for a specific collection of occupations. Maybe employment by place of work isn't enough. You need employment by place of residence. You need your local occupation unemployment data. What about some career pathways? What about the education pipeline? You need average wages. No, you need median wages. Wages of experienced workers? No, make that entry-level wages. You need information about your industries, historical wage growth, employment growth, forecasts, alternative forecasts. How robust is the local supply chain? How about some demographics? How many local workers use public transportation? What is the unionization rate? What about some population projections? If only you could find this all in one place. Turns out you can.
So our job is again to provide tools and assets to help our companies, our schools to be successful with the companies around the state. This is going to be a tool that we'll purchase. All the schools have access to use it and really have intelligent data when they meet with prospects, with companies, with communities, and how they can really focus their programs to high-wage, high-demand jobs and do the things that we need to do across the state. And so on and on. So the next couple of pages are just a brief synopsis of the Jobs and Q program, but we'll have industries by occupation. We'll look at demand. We'll look at trends going down, trends going up, etc. And we'll be able to work with our state agency partners to better understand what we really need to be doing in our schools across the state. So with that, I hope that didn't take too much time. And I'll any questions that you might have, I'd love to answer.
So is this job secure program expensive? Is that something that we could possibly share the cost of how much the rest of they could benefit from this?
That's a good idea. It's very inexpensive. It's around $18,000. So it's something they use EMSI, which I used when I was in other states. This has become really the thing to do. So I think if we absorb the cost, that we can share it with all our campuses across the state much easier. We'll certainly share the same data, but I can look into that for you. Yeah. Good point. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Michelle? I've asked Michelle to give us a quick, brief report on Shelton and Bishop.
Good morning, Lord Chancellor. At our last board meeting, I informed you that the Chancellor had officially launched the Shelton State Search through the opening of an anonymous online portal. That portal has since closed. It closed on December 31st. It yielded over 100 responses, valuable input. We did move on to the next phase of our search process, and on January 6th, the publication of the vacancy announcement occurred. So the publication is out for viewing at this juncture, nationally and within the state of Alabama. The next phase of the presidential search for Shelton will be the selection of the advisory search committee members. That process is currently underway, and Chancellor Baker will be in a position next week to provide you with a listing of those committee members once they've been appointed. Moving on to Bishop State, on yesterday, the Chancellor officially announced the launching of the Bishop State presidential search. That process will follow the same as Shelton State, with the college employees being, provided with access to an online portal to which they can provide feedback and comments through the end of this month. That portal will close on January 31st, and we expect that the position announcement for the vacancy at Bishop State will be announced on February 6th. I have provided for you in your packets a timeline for the Bishop State search. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to provide any questions, and I'll provide the answers to you. And I'll keep you up to date with both of the searches as we move along.
Any questions now? Thank you.
Thank you.
We have underway the appointment of a committee to deal with the vacancy at England, not for the purpose at this point of hiring a person, but for the purpose of just doing a complete evaluation of the status of our prison education program in general. Are we current with what's happening around the country? Are we doing the best job that we can do and utilizing the money the best way we possibly could utilize it to provide training programs so that the prisoners could earn certification while they're in jail? And I think part of it is we're looking at this, what can we do to maintain contacts around the state so that we may have some ideas. If you have training here and you get this kind of certification, this is a real prospect for employment. And so we're trying to broaden our understanding, I guess, to a point if he would give us a short update on Campus Works.
Chancellor, members of the board, as a quick reminder, Campus Works summative deliverable was to provide a fit gap report outlining current issues, problems, functional gaps that impact the Alabama Community College system. And the analysis will include potential solutions. So far what they've done is 4 two-day listening sessions. They had one here at the system office, one at Jeff State, one at Lurleen B. Wallace College, and one at Southern Union College. And in addition, they had 4 days of small conference calls with presidents that were interested in also providing feedback, engage that in terms of their data gathering. They also did a statewide, anyone working within our Alabama Community College System office or at our colleges involved in IT had an opportunity to do a IT skills assessment to be able to gauge what talent we have across the state. And next steps in the process is they will provide the chancellor with a preliminary report on January 24th, and then they'll have a report for the board in person at your next board meeting on February 8th. Any questions?
An issue that I'm not comfortable with where we are is one of grants. Are we doing everything that we can do as a department to do one of two things? Either seek and secure grants at this department or assist our schools in that same process. And we're going to start a program, and in fact, I've asked Jeff for workforce, and Barbara Ann, and Donna to let's start the process, making sure that we have people attending the workshops, developing the skills if we don't already have people with those skills, and aggressively pursue funding out of every source that makes sense. And we just haven't been geared up to do that, and I want to have trained people who are pursuing those resources. Just a matter of information. And in light of that, I asked Linda Young, who I do not think is in attendance today, Jim Clover, who I haven't seen, but Vicki, you're on board. The three of them to sit down and work together and come up with an ask, so to speak. We had been invited to provide information to Senator Shelby's office for their consideration about what they might could do to assist in funding in the community college system. So I asked the three of them to come together as practicing presidents, and let's determine what we can do. You might just make a short comment, if you don't mind, because we just talked. Well, sometimes we get so excited about what we're doing that we lose track of time. I'm just kidding you, Vicki, you know that.
Thank you, Chancellor. Linda and Jim and I spent some time together deliberating about where the greatest benefit could come from an investment at the federal level in the community college system. And obviously, if you look at the current, about to be inaugurated administration's agenda, it has a significant focus on infrastructure, which obviously is one of our
many times we have missed opportunities when we're not thinking constantly about using our relationships, our resources that are available to us. We take so many different relationships for granted from time to time, and thank you for being on top of that and for your staff supporting it. We appreciate the great report from Mr. Lynn, from Ms. Sylvester, from Dr. Rothermer. Thank you so much, and from Professor Carlowitz, thank you for keeping us informed. Great report. Any comments from the other board members or questions? Okay. Our agenda has nothing else to come before the board at this time. We will have our work session at 1 o'clock in the President's Conference Room. Our February board meeting is February 8th here in Montgomery at this board meeting. Thanks again for your attendance. I think we're off to a great start. Exciting things and exciting challenges ahead of our system. And thank you for everybody for your support and your encouragement to the board, but also for your commitment to this system and for your hard work. Appreciate each and every one of you. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Stand adjourned.